Hello, hello, and welcome along. I want to talk about a beautiful topic today, inspiration, and when inspiration hits. And interestingly, when inspiration hits and how we can get stuck in that inspiration and we can't quite yet get into the inspired action that is what is supposed to follow after that inspiration. So hang around if this sounds like you. Inspiration itself, as what is it, right? That moment that something hits, the aha, the epiphany, as the dictionary will tell you, it comes from a moment of breath, of divine breath, where something divine or supernatural has been breathed into you, because it comes, its roots are in the word of breath, right? And so you have been breathed into with something incredible and extraordinary. This is what an inspired moment, an inspired thought, an inspired dream, an inspired fill in your own blank is referring to. And so look into your life and look into these moments where you have had a moment of inspiration. Try and track it back and think about it as I'm chatting here. So the power of inspiration can lead our lives in the most incredible directions if we pay attention to them, if we grasp the inspired moment, we hang out with the inspired moment, and then the important part, we put things into action. And so today's discussion is inspired by someone actually who recently joined the Agents of Awesome community and was saying, the point that I'm stuck at is that moment of wanting to go into inspired action, but being stuck in the inspiration itself. Yeah, let me know if this is you. So let's talk about that. After your moment of brilliance, what happens if you're stuck in that inspiration and unable to move? There's a few reasons, right? A few reasons why we can actually get stuck in that momentum. And I'm going to give you three very common ones. The first is fear. Yeah, we fear because it comes from the unknown. Yeah, we fear what could happen. We fear, just the unknown into what next if we actually move into something else. We fear leaving the beauty and richness of that inspired moment and changing the gorgeousness of that moment, right, of the inspiration. But of course, if we stay stuck there, what we start to experience is the energy becomes stagnant, right? The energy isn't as breath movement, right? It doesn't move through us in the same way that breath and life force energy does. And the true meaning of inspiration, if we stay stuck in the aha, in the epiphany, in the beauty of the revelation itself, there's a movement that has to come forth. So fear is one of those pieces that can keep us stuck in being with the inspiration itself, but not taking action on the inspiration or from the inspiration or through the inspiration. Yeah. And so that's the first one that keeps us stuck. The second one is, again, as I mentioned, related to that fear, it's the not knowing, right? We also get stuck because we don't know what's next. What is my next step? I'm clueless as to what actually happens. I've had this amazing, revelation, lights are all on moment, the heavens opened and boom, I see the light, or I see things differently, right? Whatever that inspired moment is, it can seem for some very complete in what has been delivered, or for others, it can be a prompting. Yeah, it can be a nugget that comes along. And so that next moment, that next step afterwards can also be where we become stuck. What happens next? What is my next action? How do I even figure that out? Yep. So again, that is another reason why we can stay stuck in the inspiration itself. And the third one that I commonly encounter with people who have had spiritual experiences and these transformative life experiences is, and this is a biggie, is a lack of confidence. Maybe we have done something before and we've tried and we feel like a failure in it, and we just don't have the energy or effort or willingness to want to get up and try again or do something different. Maybe we think we're just going to be hugely embarrassed by, stuffing up if we go into, if we dive into this big amazing thing that's happened, and then look at me, I fall on my face and it just didn't quite work out, right? So, or maybe there's that program running of who am I to do that? Who am I to step up and be that person or have that message? Or how on earth could I possibly do XYZ? I'm not that person. I don't know this. I'm not capable of that, right? There's all kinds of different messaging and self-talk and programming and stuff from the past. That's a really big conversation, right? It's a really big can of worms there that we can lock ourselves into, and it can happen very automatically and unconsciously, because sometimes these programs and these voices are just so ingrained. They're like superhighways in our head that might have been there from when we were a kid, right? And so they just keep us locked and stuck in patterns where then we look around and we're like, I had this amazing inspired moment, but I can't seem to move forward, right? So I'm either fearful, or I just don't know what my next step is, or I just don't have the confidence. I don't think I can do it, right? I don't think I can make that leap. So 3 very common, don't beat yourself up as if this has been part of your experience. If you can identify your own experience somewhere within there, celebrate that. That is a wonderful thing. I want to give you a high 5, a high 10 on that. That is absolutely awesome, because that is a self-knowing. It's like, oh, that's what's going on with me. Okay, well, if that's what's going on, is that really big, such a big, ugly beast in my life that I can't overcome it? Of course you can overcome it, right? Of course you can. Identifying it is one of the first pieces in that. So these are reasons why we can stay stuck. And yes, I also wanted to discuss how the spiritual power of your inspiration, of that inspired moment itself, can actually be the key to get you out of the funk of stuckness, to get you out of that rut that you might feel you are trapped in or locked in. And let's return now to the meaning of inspired, right? Inspirited, in breath, something through spirit, with spirit, through supernatural, through life force energy that has come to you, right? An inspiration is a gift. It comes to you. It arrives to you. You just have to open to receive it, right? And if you have opened to that moment of the aha or the revelation or the whatever it was in that inspired moment, you have opened to it and received it. And that's an absolutely marvelous thing. And so I totally understand the temptation and the easiness with which one can become stuck in that powerful, beautiful moment. And, you're rethinking it over and over again, and you're planning things certain ways, and, you revision it this way, or you're fleshing out further details. And it depends on what the vision was and how big it was, right? I don't know. It could be something that totally changes the trajectory of your life, or it could be an aha, something simple and small that you just know is part of the key, right, in how to move forward. But there it is. Therein lies the power of your spiritual experience. The life force energy, the spirit, the breath, these things are always moving. They're always moving, right? Until we are out of our last breath, we too have the ability to move. And so this is a way, your inspiration, that gift that you have received that has come through you, is a way to almost put like a beautiful golden blanket around you. It's a delicious thing, and encourage you encourage you to keep on moving in the direction that is revealed to you, in the direction of the beauty that you have sensed, that inspiration has awoken within you, to lean into that which has been expanded in your being. Work with the experience to move out of stuckness and take, even if it's one little next step, and then one little next step, and one little next step. And don't let your perfectionism stop you, or your wanting to get all your ducks in a row, or to know or to see the future and where it's going to come. Often inspiration is so in the moment, and we must be in the moment, and we must lean into it, and we must do the next one thing that is presented, and trust and know that as we step into that, then the next piece will be revealed, and the next piece, and the next piece. And the more that we lean into that, the more that we work with that inspiration, that spirit moving through us, that breath moving through us, that life force energy that goes through us, the more that you work with that, the more that you grow that confidence, because your trust will build as you step in, right? The more you will look back and you'll say, that is where that inspired moment led me in my life. That is what that inspired moment brought about in the story that is my life, in that chapter, in my future chapters of my life. So cherish those inspired moments. Don't leave them as little gold flecks somewhere in your past, especially if you're at a point in your life where you're wondering, surely there's something more, or maybe I need a change in direction or something else. Work with those moments of inspiration. Recall them, right? Because inside those lay a key to who you are and your path, right? There lies a key to your magic and what you bring to the world. So go there, be with it, spend time with it. Ask great creator, the universe, whatever language you want to put there, the great creative force, you know, let the universe know that you are open to more inspiration. You are open to more inspired moments. And then take at least one action, at least one, no matter how small, because that little tiny action is actually a monumental agreement, a monumental conversation back to that great creative force of, yes, I'm leaning into it. Thank you for that inspiration. And I'm going to put it into action in this earthly realm, which is why we are here, right? We have these experiences, and it's all about stepping up and putting them into action and embodying and integrating them into who we are to live that most beautiful world that we can be in. If you want assistance with that, of course, I am here as your coach. I've even opened up one-to-one VIP sessions. That is through demand. Some people have been wanting to do that, so I'm now reopening that service. So you can shoot me a private message if that is of interest to you. Otherwise, I have my amazing program, Spirit Gifts One-on-One, which is where we do all of this. So make sure you get your Agents of Awesome roadmap, because that will show you exactly the process we walk through to do what we have been discussing right here. Peace to you. Live, love, laugh.